My name's Dr. Erin Pitt, and I'm the professor of Archaeology and Ancient Studies here at Sweet Briar. And today we're coming from you live in Pinnell in room 202. And we're going to be talking a bit about the artifacts, the collections that we have here at Sweet Briar, the resources and the program for Archaeology and Ancient Studies here at Sweet Briar, what archaeological experience can be like for you in general, and then we're going to be answering any questions that you have too. So stay tuned and please let us know, give us questions as they come up, and we'll do our best to answer them. But what I wanted to start with a little bit today was to show you some of the artifacts that we have in the collections here at Sweet Briar. And we have collections that are all over Sweet Briar. So these are coming from Pinnell Gallery, and I've kind of chosen my favorites, so I tend to be a little bit biased. But we also have collections of artifacts in the Archaeology lab, which is in Gray Hall right now, and then we also have some objects in the Sweet Briar Museum as well. So I personally, I'm a Mediterranean archaeologist, so I chose some more Greek and Roman centered objects to show you today, but we also have some things from the New World as well. What I wanted to start off with right now are some Greek and Roman coins that we have here in the collection. And keep in mind that if you come to Sweet Briar and you're involved in the archaeology program, you don't even have to be a major or a minor, but if it's part of your passion and you want to work on a project, you can always come and create your own project, work with the artifacts here. We definitely have more than our fair share that you can investigate and get your hands or your gloved hands on. So looking at Greek coins and Roman coins, we brought out, the shiniest ones, the prettiest ones, the silver ones. And one thing that distinguishes Greek coins from Roman coins is that Greek coins come from their own small communities. So cities you might have heard of like Athens or Corinth or Sparta, each city has their own coinage and their own sort of icon. So, for example, one that we have here, I don't know if you can see it very well. You see the shield right here on the front of it. That's from the city-state of Thebes. Whereas with Roman coins, we have mostly our silver ones today. You're almost generally going to see only the emperor's visage, right, his portrait, to sort of spread his image throughout the empire. And then on the back, you'll find some that have little pieces of propaganda, usually a victory or Zeus, something to make the emperor look like he's the best. Speaking of portraits, we do have some sculpture in our collections. I'm going to be really careful with this one. So this is a white marble portrait bust. It's of a young female. You can see that she has her hair pulled back in a nice, tight, clean bun, almost like one of our young ballerinas or young dancers here at Sweet Briar. And even though this is small, don't be fooled. It's really quite heavy, probably not helped by the fact that it's also on a marble base. But this seems to have been something that might have come from a funerary context. So devoted or dedicated to the deceased so that their image would remain for everybody's memory. Put that down gently. Other objects that we have, particularly from the Roman world, are one of my favorites. So we have a bronze, this is called a bronze fibula. See if I can just sit up a little bit so you can see this. And you have two sets of bronze rings here, and you have a pin here and a clasp and almost like a horseshoe shape right there. So fibulas are basically safety pins. They're the safety pins of the ancient world. We didn't really have buttons back then, so you're using these to tie your cloak together or fasten your dress together so that you're not looking a little bit indecent in public. Other things that are a basic part of daily life, of course, are lamps. Lamps are one of the most commonly found kinds of ceramics. And these would have been filled with oil, and then a wick is inserted inside. And then you can even see this one has just a little bit of charring still on the inside from where it was burning. And then almost all lamps have some kind of decoration on the front. This one has a winged victory, if you can see that there. Something that we tend to take for granted and don't realize is that the Romans were really good at making glass as well. So glass is extremely fragile. It doesn't tend to be preserved quite as nicely as this one, so we're really lucky to have a piece like this. But this would have been filled with perfumed oils, or maybe even some kind of liquidy cosmetic for our Roman lady at her toilette. Moving to the Greek world, we have a couple of ceramic objects as well. One of our earliest ones may not be the prettiest ones, but maybe it reminds us of some of the toys that we played with when we were children. So you have a horse that's painted with stripes and a rider that looks like a bird on the back and may in fact be a bird, or may in fact just be a human figure. So objects like this could have easily served as toys, but they also could have been dedications at sanctuaries, particularly where horse racing or horsemanship would have been an important part. Other small objects that we have, this is the Greek version of our Roman perfume base. This is called an eribolos. And these are really tiny. I think you can see how small this is just from the scale of my hand. And we have it painted with Greek soldiers and their shields ready to go to battle all across the front. One of our other very impressive pieces from the Greek world, this is from about the mid-5th century BCE. This is called a lekyphos. And again, it comes from a funerary context, so burials. And that's usually where we find our most well-preserved objects. And so we tend to know about their use a little bit more. So this is painted with a maiden on the front, perhaps depicting the maiden or the deceased to whom it was dedicated. And these were placed in tombs with the top open so that you could pour oil as an offering inside and go and remember the deceased on a regular basis, just like we do on Memorial Day when we lay flowers on our loved ones' tombstones or graves. Let's see. And finally, just a couple of other objects that we have that are not from the ancient Greek or Roman world. We do have a fair amount of objects from Central and South America. We have these votive figurines and plaques from Teotihuacan, which is a major city in the Yucatan Peninsula. The one culture that we might be most familiar with there are the Maya, so those Mayan pyramids there. Really great plaques. I'll show you. Getting the sense of the theme that a lot of the ancient world is in durable, so terracotta or that I didn't bring with me, but you would have the chance to work with here at Sweet Briar that have been excavated from here on campus. So, and what kinds of tools they use. So, all of these are part of different resources that you can work with myself or other people and do complete projects or research in Pinnell or in the archaeology. We also partner at sites around the area, so we and internships at Monticello, Montpelier, and also at Poplar Forest, Thomas Jefferson's other little-known retreat just south of here. So what is it that archaeology? I think many of us get real interested in archaeology when we're exposed to Egyptian myth. And we love all those stories, right? And what the gods are doing, and we thought, how could they know those stories? Thinking about the people themselves, what are they working with on a daily basis? So in general, archaeology and ancient studies, it's a great program for you to pursue at a liberal arts college. It allows you to explore a lot of different areas and disciplines. You're not just digging in the dirt, you're learning about landscape, you're learning about formation processes, you're learning about the environment. You can learn about biology and bioarchaeology, so studying the remains of humans and of animals. You can learn about ancient history. You can also go into the visual arts, painting, sculpture, and even studio arts, making your own your inspirations from ancient art. And just because you major in archaeology doesn't mean that you have to be an archaeologist. There are several ways that you can use your archaeological background or even your ancient history background in other fields that are maybe considered a little bit more permanent. So data analysis is a really great one. GIS and mapping and geography are also really great programs and jobs to go into. And also many archaeologists find themselves working for the government, for the Bureau of Land Management, or even for the Army Corps of Engineers, doing survey work and understanding how material and how landscapes are transforming or can be transformed for our modern society. So I got into archaeology because I loved history and I loved mythology, and I had the great opportunity to have a professor that had his own project and would take me to Italy, and really recognized early on that this was something that I loved, this is something that I could do, and I could probably do it pretty well. I hope I do it pretty well. So being able to go first on a dig and really know that I loved not just learning about archaeology in the classroom, but also learning about it and putting together the puzzle pieces and fieldwork was the thing that I wanted to do. And so that's something that you can do here at Sweet Briar. Our classes are small enough that you have constant interaction with your professors, and we're able to see that passion come out in your schoolwork, in your class activities, and then to recommend different kinds of programs that might be good for you. If you're interested in Mayan archaeology, we have a network of people and contacts that we can send you on programs there. If you're interested in Mediterranean archaeology, I have projects that I'm working on in Italy and in Albania. If you want to go to Kazakhstan, we can find people that will work with you in Kazakhstan. So just because we're a small college doesn't mean that we don't have a wide network, but it is that small college atmosphere that's going to get you those connections much more quickly and easily.